Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Presidential Director from Oconomowoc, Wisconsin, Mr. Steve Schultz.
How many of you have been to an Excel event like this before? Almost everybody? Okay. Guys, that's what Pat and I would do. When we were first starting off in this business, we would go to every regional conference. This is our 13th Excelebration now. All right, 13 years we've been coming to Dallas. We would go to every regional training director school, every NTD school. All the RTD schools were held in Dallas every 6 months. So every 6 months, Pat and I would take a busload of people down to Dallas, go through RTD school, and we would go to event after event after event after event to try to find the secret to this business. And I remember we'd sit in the back row and we'd watch all the speakers come up here, and I remember walking away from those events with a severe case of the what's wrong with me's. You guys know what I'm talking about? Because what happens at events like this, and especially Excelebration, is that they will parade people one at a time across the stage. And people will get up here this weekend and they'll say, I became a regional director in 2.5 minutes. I became an executive director in an hour and a half. And I should be in the ambassador pool by Thursday. And I remember Pat and I would listen to this, event after event after event, and we would get totally depressed. See, guys, it is really, really easy to get depressed in our business. Just what you want to hear this morning, isn't it? I'll bring you back up in just a second, all right? But to get depressed in our business, the only thing you have to do is compare your success to the success of others. And it can be really depressing. See, all the senior representatives, they're all depressed because of the RDs. All the RDs are depressed because of the EDs. All the EDs are depressed because of the SDs. All right? The SDs are all depressed because of the ESDs. All you ESDs in the room. Now, I know you're all depressed because of the ambassadors. I get depressed in Excel because all I have to do is compare my success to that of Chuck Hoover. Cowboy. Yeah. Gets kicked off a horse and still makes more money than everybody else, right? Chuck Hoover can get depressed because all he has to do is compare his success to that of Joe Mitchell. Now, Joe, he can't get depressed. It stops right there with Joe. All right? What I'm going to ask you to do is don't compare your success to the success of other people. Compare your success to the goals that you set for yourself. You know, the definition of success is anybody who sets a goal and then hits it. If your goal is to make an extra $50 a month with Excel and you're doing that, you are extremely successful. But what I want you to do is that when you hit a goal, set another one, and set another one, and set another one, and set another one. Continue to grow and expand in this business. You know, when I first started, going on my 14th year now, my original goal was to supplement my teaching income by $200 a month. That's as big as I thought this thing could get. You guys are looking at a real visionary up here. The reason we chose $200 was because that's what our car payment was. My car payment was $203 a month. And Colleen, her exact words were, she said, if we could just get a free car out of this thing. She kept calling it that phone thing. Can any of you relate to that? How's that phone thing going? Well, we thought that would be terrific. Well, we started to do that pretty much right away. And then we said, okay, if we can make enough money to make our car payment, maybe we can make enough money to make our house payment. Not only can we drive for free, but let's live for free. And so, a few months later, we started to do that. And then Colleen said, maybe we can make enough money so that I can stay home with the kids. All right? I've got 3 kids, all boys except 2 girls. It's too early for that, isn't it? Way too early for that. At the time, we just had Megan and Emily. So about a little more than a year into our Excel business, Colleen left her teaching position. Well, then I got a little jealous. And I said, if we can make enough money so that you can stay home, maybe we can make enough money so that I can stay home. And sure enough, a little more than a year and a half later, I left my teaching position. But you guys, in the back of my mind, my ultimate goal was to make $5,000 a month. I thought if I could ever get to a point where I am making $5,000 a month, that would be like nirvana. That would be the ultimate. Why? Because that's coming from somebody who used to make $23,000 a year as a school teacher. That's not funny. Now to make 60 and not have to answer to anybody? How could it get any better than that? A lot better, right? It can get a lot better. So what I'm going to ask you to do is when you set a goal and you hit it, continue to set goals, set goals, set goals, set goal, and expand your vision big time. Let me ask you this. How many of you have been to an Excel training class at least 10 other times? 20. 50. Watch this. How many of you in this room have been to an Excel training class of any sort more than 100 times? 200 times. How many of you have seen me do a training class more than 200 times? Laugh when you're supposed to. Okay? Now, those of you who had your hands in the air, back me on this. But I would be willing to bet that every time that you go to an Excel training class or any type of Excel event, you pick up 1 or 2 different ideas. And you know what? You guys might not get it from me. You might get it from the person sitting next to you. But if you guys can hang out with us for 2 days, 9 to 4, 9 to 4, and maybe pick out 1 or 2 different ideas that will help your business explode, is it worth it? Guys, I think so. What our job is we have to go out and teach the teachers. We have to go out and teach new training directors how to train managing representatives. We have to go out there and teach the teachers. Now, we're going to give you 2 days worth of stuff. Did anybody's back just start to hurt? Ooh, 2 days. What I want you to do is I want you to pick out the material that you like and incorporate it into your training classes. Because Pat and I, we're not going to stand up here and say, you need to do this. Because it's your business. You guys, it's your business. You go out there and build this business any way you want to. Ethically, any way you want to. Ethically, any way you want to. Excel is a very, very simple business, but it's not easy. It's a very, very simple business, but it's not easy. I mean, people are going to go through an emotional roller coaster. I mean, it's easy to get excited about Excel when you're in a room like this, right? But when you walk outside these doors, you know, it gets a little bit tougher. And so what we have to do is we've got to prepare our brand new managing representatives for that emotional roller coaster that they're about to get on. Because it's a very, very simple business, but it's not easy. I was talking to a guy, this was a few months now, and I was showing him the business, and I got just 5 minutes into the presentation, and this guy stopped me, and he said, oh, it's one of those networking things. And can you sort of tell the way he said it to me? He looked at me like, oh, I don't do those things. I've seen people go to jail over those things. And I sort of looked at him and I said, Bob, you can't laugh too hard because $100 billion a year is serious business. You guys, that's the industry that we have to play in. Forget about the telecom industry. The network marketing industry today is $100 billion a year strong. Well, let's take a look at this industry. First of all, networking has been around for a long time, and we do it every single day. How many of you have ever read a good book, saw a good movie, ate at a good restaurant, and told somebody about it? Guys, we do it all the time, don't we? The difference is that when you decided to get involved with Excel, you're still going to go out there and recommend good products and services to your friends and your family members. The difference is now you're going to start to get paid for it. Networking, there are 35 million networkers worldwide, of which 15 million of them are here in North America. 150,000 people join a network marketing company each week. How much fun is it going to be when we say 150,000 people join Excel each week? Do you think the people in this room are going to make any money? Well, if you take a look at those numbers right there, it's pretty logical to sit back and say, man, this thing's got to be saturated. Everybody's already doing it, right? Well, take a look at these numbers. Networking's been around for 50 years. When they took the world census in 1950, when they counted everybody on the planet, there were 2.5 billion people on the planet Earth. Well, in the year 2000, when they recounted everybody, that number has increased to 6.5 billion people. Saturation. The only conclusion that I can draw from these two numbers is there are far more people working on population than network marketing. How does network marketing work? Well, it's very simple. Companies like Excel use independent representatives to move product and service. And we, as independent representatives, we have the ability to build our own sales organization. In other words, it is a win-win situation. You see, AT&T, MCI, and Sprint, those three companies combined spend millions and millions of dollars a day in advertising. They throw millions of dollars a day out the window hoping that customers come back. Excel says, and what Joe says is he says, nah, I'm not going to pay you guys a dime. You bring me the customer first, then I'll pay out the commissions. It is a win-win situation. Now, why does network marketing work? Well, it works because people are looking for additional income. Guys, I don't care what economic times we are in, people are always looking to make more money. If you make $100,000 a year, you're spending $110,000. If you make $1 million a year, you're spending 1.1. It's all relative. It works because people are looking for freedom. What kind of freedom? Time freedom. You know, what this business has given Colleen and I and Pat and Cindy is freedom. Not only financial, but time. And guys, I think time is the most important. Because you can go out there and make all the money in the world that you want to make, but if you don't have the time to enjoy it, it means nothing. It means nothing. It also works because companies offer attractive products and services. And there's no difference with Excel. Network marketing can work for you if you really want it to. Guys, I don't care how tough you think this business is at times, if you really want it to work, you'll overcome those obstacles. It will work if you have the right attitude. I'm going to talk a lot about attitude today. It's going to work if you have a solid belief system. If you really believe that this is going to work, it will. It will work if you know what your hot buttons are. You guys have got to figure out why you're building your Excel business. I believe that, the Excel kit could fall off the back of a truck somewhere. Somebody could pick it up and figure out how this business works. That means nothing unless you know why you want it to work. Because your why will help you overcome any obstacles that are thrown in your path. And network marketing will work for you if you are willing to learn from others. Guys, don't ever sit back and say, oh, I know all that stuff. I've seen Steve do these RTD schools and the NTD schools dozens of times. I know all that stuff. Always be willing to learn from others. That's why, you guys, I was so fired up when Excel came out with the Audio Power Program. Okay? The Audio Power Program is a great way to find out what other people are doing across the country to help build their Excel business. All right? I listen to more Amway tapes than Amway people do. I listen to Amway tapes. I listen to Zig Ziglar and Anthony Robbins and Les Brown. Do you guys know who Les Brown is? Anything you can get from Les Brown, go out and listen to it. All right? The Audio Power Program is a great tool. All right? And I was so fired up when they brought it back because every 2 weeks, you're going to hear from 2 different Excel leaders talking about something they do to go out and build their business. It is a great, great tool. Reasons to get started in network marketing. Guys, we already talked about money. The number one reason that people get involved in a network marketing company is because they want to make some extra money. How many of you got involved in Excel because you wanted to make some extra money? Did anybody get in because of the social aspect of it? No, because you would have joined a bowling league, right? The social aspect comes with it. But the reason that you decided to get involved with Excel is to, plain and simple, to make money. Another good reason to get started is recognition. We've got some people in Milwaukee who work harder for the recognition than they actually do for the check. And that's okay. And another great reason to get started is you have a chance to make a difference in somebody else's life. Because you guys remember that what we do here with Excel is the total opposite of corporate America. It's the total opposite. In order for you to be successful in our business, you have to help a whole bunch of other people become successful. In corporate America, you're sort of stepping on people to get to the top. But in our business, you have to drag a whole bunch of people to the top with you. You've got a chance to make a difference in somebody else's life. Now, there are 3 reasons why people fail in this business. And the first reason is that they are too smart. Do you guys have people in your organizations who are way too smart for this? These are the people who try to reinvent the wheel. They try to do things differently. These are the people that you just want to take, throw them up against the wall, and say, the system is already in place. Just plug in. But you can't tell them anything. Pat and I, this was probably back in 1994, we sponsored a radio station in Milwaukee. We sponsored FM 106. It's a country station in Milwaukee. And what the guys at FM 106 wanted to do is they wanted to send a mailer to all of their country club members to try to get them as customers. And Pat and I said, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. You're competing with AT&T, MCI, and Sprint. You have no name recognition. Don't do it. They did it. They sent out a 43,000-piece mailer and got back 3 responses. So you know what the guys from FM 106 said to me and Pat? Excel doesn't work. That Excel thing doesn't work. No, what you're doing doesn't work. You guys, is our system flexible enough that if you wanted to go do some special things, if you wanted to go run some ads, do some internet prospecting. Is it flexible enough to be able to go do that kind of stuff? Yeah. But you be flexible enough in saying that, hey, if what I'm doing doesn't work, it doesn't mean that Excel doesn't work. It simply means that your approach isn't working. Be flexible enough to change your approach. Second reason that people fail is that they don't get started correctly. They don't get off to a fast start. And the third reason why people fail is that they quit. They don't see the job through. Now, I had to change this a couple of months back. I was listening to Otis Williams, and Otis Williams said, it's okay that people quit. As a matter of fact, you want some people to quit. In fact, you wish a lot of people would quit. And I started to think about that, and I said, yeah, you're probably right. I wish people would quit being so lazy. I wish people would quit being so negative. I wish people would quit procrastinating. I wish people would quit a lot of things. So I actually had to change this. So the third reason why people fail is not because they quit, but it's because they give up. They give up looking for the reasons to reach their goals. Now, we can't really do anything about numbers 1 and 3, but we can certainly get our new representatives off to a fast start. Now, you guys may walk out of here today pretty fired up, pretty motivated, pretty excited about this business. But my warning to you is that motivation is not permanent. You know, I heard Zig Ziglar say one time that motivation is a lot like taking a shower. It's not a bad idea to do it every single day. See, we need motivation in our lives every single day because demotivation is everywhere. You know, I probably don't have to tell you this, but we live in an incredibly negative world. What we are doing here with Excel is extremely positive. You know, one of the reasons that we get together like this is that it creates realness. Because maybe the very first time that you saw Excel, you were one-on-one with your sponsor. Or maybe you had 3 or 4 people at a lunch meeting, or 5 or 6 people at a home meeting. But all of a sudden you come to an event like this, and you see 1,500 people sitting around you, and you say to yourself, all right, they all can't be insane. It just makes Excel real. Because guys, one of the greatest things about this business is that it's your business. And you're sort of out there working all by yourself, and there's not really anybody telling you what to do. Well, the problem with that is that it's your business. And you're sort of out there working all by yourself, and there's not really anybody telling you what to do. See, like I said before, it's very, very easy to get excited about Excel when you're in a room like this. Everybody look around. This is family here, right? We're all family members here. But as soon as you walk outside those doors, it can get tough. It can get really tough. You guys understand that as soon as you walk outside these doors, the world is filled with cave people. How many of you got a couple of those guys in your downline? Cave people. Citizens against virtually everything. When you guys walk outside these doors, people are going to tell you that you're nuts, that you're crazy, that the thing is never going to work, and you have to learn to overcome some of that stuff. How many of you are going back to work on Monday morning? How many of you are going back to work sometime in the next 2 weeks? Look at the enthusiasm there, huh? All right, here's what I want you to do. When you walk back into your workplace on Monday morning, I want you to just feel the excitement. Hey, don't worry about it. You'll walk in, people giving you high fives, the music will be playing. People come up to you, hey, brother, welcome back to the cubicle. I want you to compare the energy of your workplace to this. Is there any comparison? None. How many of you in this room do Excel full time? Look at the hands there. Congratulations. Congratulations. Those of us who do Excel full time, right here, this is our working environment 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We only have to deal with self-motivated, positive people that want to make a change in their life. Let me ask you this. How many of you drive a car? Is there anybody in this room who on a regular, consistent basis runs out of gas? See, there's always one. Let me tell you guys, let me tell you this. It doesn't matter if I have a group of 2,000 or if I have a group of 1. Somebody goes, yeah, that's me. Yeah, that's me. Guys, why don't we run out of gas? Because as we're driving down the street, we're watching that needle get closer and closer and closer to the E, and you say to yourself, boy, I better pull over and fill up so that I can keep going. Doesn't that just make sense? Guys, don't you think that we should apply some of those same principles in other aspects of our lives? You know, I always get a kick out of people who, they'll come to one of my business presentations or they'll come to a training class and they'll say, oh, Steve, I'm glad you're here. I needed to get fired up again. And I haven't seen that person in 6 months. And I look at him and go, what took you so long? Why did you wait till the tank got on E before you decided to come back and remotivate? See, motivation is a spark. Motivation is a spark that'll get you going. That's all it is a spark to get you going. If you can make motivation a habit, you will reach your goals and your dreams faster than you ever imagined possible. These events are so important. Your weekly training classes are so important. Your business presentations weekly are so important because you surround yourself with self-motivated, positive people that want to make a change in their life. And when you surround yourself with those types of people, it rubs off. It rubs off. You know, your income is the average income of your 10 closest friends. Hey, buddy. Does that scare anybody in here? You got 2 choices to make. Either you need to upgrade the standard of living of your buddies, or y'all need to get some new buddies. How many of you want more in the future than you had in the past? Duh. How many of you want to make more money in the future than you made in the past? All right. I'm going to make you 2 guarantees. When you leave here today, you won't be the same person. Thank goodness, right? And if you use the information that's presented, plain and simple, it'll change your life. Plain and simple, it will change your life. I want to cover some things about how to build momentum in your city, because I get a lot of questions from people when I travel all over. They say, what cities really have it going on? How do I get my city so it's like this city? How can we do it better than what we're doing right now? So I want to talk about how to create momentum in your town. Now, I may be a little bit biased here, but in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, we've got it going on. We're doing some good things in Milwaukee. You know, and we've got such great people in the city of Milwaukee that are out building this business. It is so much fun to work with these people every single week. And I want to talk to you about how we do it. And like I said yesterday, you guys take the information that you like and then try to incorporate it into what you're doing. So hopefully you'll get a few ideas of what we're doing in Milwaukee, and maybe that'll help you guys in your city, for whatever you're doing in your city. But one thing that we've got in Milwaukee is we've created a situation that if people are not there on the Thursday night business presentation, and if people aren't there on Saturday, they feel like they're missing something. Somehow, some way, you've got to create that sensation that says, if I'm not there on Thursday night, I'm missing something. Now you sit back and go, well, that's easy to say, but how in the world do you do that? Well, you do that by promotion, 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 promotion. You've got to promote what you're doing in your town. If your business presentations are on Thursday night, make sure that you get on Go Solo 4 times and promote the upcoming business presentation. Promote the upcoming training classes. Get on there and say, hey guys, Pat Hintz is doing the meeting tonight. You better be there by 7 o'clock if you want to get a seat. Click. And you do it over and over, and people are listening to that going, yeah, whatever. Well, okay. All right, I got to be there. Do it over and over and over. Promotion, 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 promotion. Now, you sit there and go, well, yeah, but that's good for the new people. But what about all of us who've been in 6, 7, 8, 9 years who know you're sort of crying wolf? You know, we know you're going to be there. You don't have to promote it. We know you're going to be there. Well, one way to create, hey, I'm missing something, is you've got to keep the best people up in front of the room at all times. You figure out who the best presenters are in your city and keep them up in front of the room at all times. Thursday night, or whatever night you do your business presentations, that is not a training ground. Don't train on somebody else's prospects. All right? Take the best speakers that you have in your city and get them up in front of the room week after week after week after week. Now, we had a situation in Milwaukee a few years ago where one guy on our leadership team, during one of our leadership meetings, he said to Pat and I, he said, hey, I think we should get some new people up in front of the room. Pat and I were the only ones doing the BPs. And I just sort of looked at him and I said, why? And he said, well, I think we need to get some new people up there. I said, why? Well, I think it would be good. I said, why? Well, I just think we need some fresh faces. I said, why? Well, I just think it'd be nice. I said, why? And you know what it came down to? He was bored. He was bored at the business presentation. And I finally looked at him, and his name was Pat. And I said, Pat, hey, that's okay. You can be bored at the business presentation because it's not about you. It's about your guests. Guys, you will never, ever be bored at a business presentation or a training class if you have new people in the room. Never be bored. At the business presentations, the audience plays as big a role in the presentation as the person up in front of the room. Now, I know Pat might have talked a little bit about this morning, but the audience has got to be a part of the cast. You may have heard this business presentation thousands of times, but you have to pretend that it's the very first time that you've ever heard it. You got to play the role. You got to play the game. You know, in a business presentation, how is the room usually set up? We usually have 70% reps and 30% guests. Well, if we've got 70% of the room sort of sitting on the edge of their chair, making great eye contact with the presenter, nodding on the good points, all right? When the presenter's up there talking about the coding bonuses being paid to infinity, and you've got 70% of the room going, the other 30% are looking around going, yeah, that was a good point. You've got to play your part. You've got to play your part. Now, let me ask you this. Does it help if the person up in front of the room is good? Okay? At a business presentation, aren't you there to make money? And it helps if the person up in front of the room is good, right? If you want the person up in front of the room to be good or better, then you have to be good or better. Play the game, all right? Play the game. Everybody sits in front, and you play the game. Nobody stands around in the back, okay? So the audience plays as big a role as the person up in front of the room. Now, another way to create momentum is you involve as many people as you possibly can. You've got to get people to feel good about themselves. You got to make sure that they feel like they're part of the team. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, you got to give people jobs to do. Make them feel important. In Milwaukee, everybody's got their job to do. Everybody has their place. Well, we have got 2 or 3 people every Thursday night that their job is to set the room up. They make sure we've got the correct number of chairs. If we're using a stage, make sure the stage is in the right area. If we're using a screen, make sure that the speaker doesn't walk in front of the screen. All right? Pat talked to you about setting up the number of chairs in the room this morning. If you expect 100 people at your business presentation, set up 60 chairs. You know you're going to have 100 people there, but set up 60 chairs. Just make sure you have 40 right behind that curtain. Because, guys, it is very, very exciting at 7:20, 7:25, when people are standing around looking for a place to sit down, and all of a sudden you start wheeling in a bunch of chairs. And all the guests in the room are going, man, this thing is flying. And you knew you were going to have 100 people there. Okay, so you've got people just to set the room up. Another job that we have is we've got 3 or 4 people at a registration table. Now, do you need 3 or 4 people at a registration table? Probably not, but it involves more people. Okay, make them feel part of the cast. They just welcome people. They can sign in. They make sure they have name tags. Another job that we've created is we've got greeters. When people go through the registration table and they walk into the room, we've got 2 or 3 people that do nothing but greet people as they come in. They say, hey, how you doing? I'm Steve. Who invited you here tonight? Is this the first time you're looking at Excel? Hey, listen, Mary's not here yet, but listen, you can sit right here, and when Mary comes, I'll bring her up to you. We have people that just greet people. And another job that we have is we have, 2 or 3 people that do nothing but set up and tear down the electronic equipment. If you're using a computer, an LCD projector, if you've got music, if you're using an overhead, a flip chart, make sure you've got the markers, make sure you've got the whiteboard. Now, you look at that and go, well, can't the same 2 or 3 people who set the room up set up the electronic equipment? It's like, probably. But you want to involve as many people as you can. Now, you take a look at that. You got 3, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 people. You've got 13 people who are in charge of setup. They need to be in the room at 6:30. Business presentation starts at 7:30. These guys are here at 6:30. And nobody comes in the room until everything is set up. Because that first impression is so important. You guys, it's horrible to have guests coming into the room as you are trying to set up your computer. Or when guests are coming in the room and some guy's on stage going, check, 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 1, 2, 1, 2, check, check, 1, 2. It's not professional. Can you hear me now? It's not professional. So the doors are shut until everything is set up. Chairs are all in a nice, neat line. You've got the LCD projector, if that's what you're using. The music is already playing, and then you open the door. You want to involve as many people as you can, because you look at the number of people right there, well, you're guaranteed to have 13 people at your BP that night. Right? You got 13 people that are going to be there. As far as name tags are concerned, in Milwaukee, we don't have 2 sets of name tags. Everybody wears the same name tag, because we don't want the guests to be singled out. Because, what happens if you show up at a business presentation, there's 20 people in the room and 1 guest. Everybody's got red name tags, 1 blue one. And that guy's, hey, thanks for coming out for me. Okay? So we try to keep the name tags the same. Now you go, well, where do I find these people? Where do I find the people that are committed to do this? Well, you've got to establish some type of leadership team in your city. Now, you've got the Team Excel thing and everything, and that's fine, but you need help. This, I don't know if you can see that well, but this is a picture of the leadership team that we have in Milwaukee. This was a picture that was taken at 7 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday. One Saturday a month, we have what is called Breakfast of Champions. One Saturday a month, we have Breakfast of Champions. And what this is It's basically a sounding board. These people all get together and they say, how can we make Milwaukee better? What can we do to make this better? And we come up with ideas. So somehow, some way, you guys create a leadership team in your area. Now, another way to create momentum is to have contests. Contests are a great, great way to get other people involved. A contest that we just finished was called Just Get One, which means if you sponsor one rep between this date and this date, whatever you put together, try to keep it 30 to 60 days, you win. You win the contest. We have a big display board. Anybody who just sponsors one, they get their name on a display board. And so every night at the business presentation or the Saturday training, they get to see their name in lights. Recognize these people. This is a very, very simple contest because everybody can do it. Guys, when people walk into our business presentations, the first thing I say to them is, did you get one? Did you get yours? Did you get one? Did you get one? Did you get one? And you can hold people accountable. Just Get One is a great contest to hold. Now, some of the prizes that we give away dinners, cookouts, parties. We take them to professional games, trips to Excelebration, Excel stuff. All right? I remember one year we did the Just Get One contest, and all the winners went to a Milwaukee Brewer game. Big tailgate party, then we went to the game. But they had to pay for it. How cheap is that? See, when people get involved in this contest and they win, what they won was the right to hang out with the other winners. Pretty cheap, huh? But that's okay. We just got done with the contest just a couple of weeks ago, and the prize was where everybody's going over to Pat's house for a big pool party. And it's like, that's cool. It doesn't have to be trips to the Bahamas or anything. People love to be recognized. And all of the stuff that you give away, whatever you decide to give away during one of your contests, it's all paid for by the city. Not one person should have to take money out of their pocket to come up with the prize money. Now you sit there and go, well, my city's broke. How am I supposed to do that? Have a special event. Invite some of the ambassadors, some of the just invite some of the leaders to come to your city and do an event. Guys, they'll do it for you. You have to pay their expenses, but they'll come and do it for you. In Milwaukee, we have a spring leadership conference, and we have a fall leadership conference. And we usually invite 2 leaders from across the country. We pay all of their expenses. We fly them in. We usually have between 800 and 1,000 people that attend this. We charge them $10 per person because they know it's a fundraiser as well. We rent this college auditorium for like $150. We have our own equipment. So we've got, maximum, you've got $2,000 in expenses. You collected $10,000. The city puts $8,000 in their pocket from one event. The leaders, in most cases, stay with somebody in our area. They don't even have hotel expenses. And so you guys talk to the leaders. They'll come and do an event for you. Just make sure that you cover all their costs. And you can put a lot of money in your pocket. Now, we talked about the big Thursday night, big group hotel type settings. All right, in Milwaukee, that's the big night. Thursday nights, everybody gets together. So what does everybody do Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday? Everybody's out doing home meetings. Everybody's out doing lunch meetings. Everybody's doing breakfast meetings. Everybody's out doing all these little satellite meetings, but everybody gets together on Thursday night because it creates an excitement. I think the very best way to build this business is one-on-one with your sponsor. 2-on-1 with your sponsor. I think that's the best way to build it. I think the second best way to build it is at the big group hotel type setting because it creates realness. Whenever I bring somebody to our Thursday night meeting, it's normally for a second look. I tried to show them the business one-on-one or 2-on-1 earlier in the week. But then I bring them to the Thursday night meeting. They look around the room and they see 150 people sitting there. And they say to themselves, okay, it's not just Steve doing this in his basement. it creates realness. Okay? So you've got all these people doing these little satellite meetings, conference calls, doing everything, but try to unite your city on one night a week, because that will really, really create momentum in your town. Now, in your town, help everybody. Regardless of downline affiliation, help everybody. Why? Because a big money earner in your town helps everyone. It's great to be able to point to somebody and say, this guy's doing this, or this girl's doing this guy's doing this. Regardless of downline affiliation, help everybody go out and build their business. Why? Because to achieve greatness, you got to serve the masses. You got to serve the masses. Service to many, you guys, leads to greatness. Help as many people as you possibly can. Now, some people sit back and say, hey, no, wait a minute. I got to sort of take care of myself. You know, I got bills to pay. That's fine. But it doesn't lead to greatness. You help other people pay their bills, yours will go away. You help other people with problems, yours will go away. Guys, we have the ability to affect the lives of dozens of people, hundreds of people, thousands of people. And the pay is accordingly. And the pay is accordingly. You know, John F. Kennedy said it best. He said, don't ask. Don't ask. Don't ask what this country can do for you. Ask, what can I do for you? And it leads to greatness. You know, Zig Ziglar said it best. He said, you can have anything in the world you want if you help enough other people get what they want. You go help as many people as you possibly can, and you can have anything you want. Somehow, some way, you guys, go create momentum in your town. And what you have to do is you got to make people feel good about themselves. Over the last 6 or 7 years of building our business, I have really, really tried to involve my kids. Did Pat show you pictures of his kids this morning? Yeah. Okay, now it's my turn to brag, all right? This all started, first of all, there's my family, okay? And the reason that we try to involve our kids happened a few years back. I was on my way to St. Louis, and my daughter Emily, far right-hand side, just before I left, she said to me, can't those stupid people in St. Louis do it themselves? Not that she had anything against you guys in St. Louis. What Emily was doing was she was crying out, wondering why Dad had to go to St. Louis. And I knew from that day forward, we had to involve these little guys in our business. We had to make them feel a part of what we're doing. Now, I talked to you guys last year about what we do on New Year's Eve. The Schultz family tradition on New Year's Eve is this. We all go out for dinner. There's about 5 families that all go out for dinner together. And then we go watch the Harlem Globetrotters play. Every New Year's Eve, they're in Milwaukee. And then after the game, everybody goes home. We go to our house. We get the fireplace going in the family room. And we sit around and we wait for the new year to roll around. As we wait for the new year to roll around, one at a time, we go through and we talk about what we want to get out of Excel for the upcoming year. And we write down these goals as a family. We've got this sheet of paper, we write them all down, and then once we write them down, the kids go try to find pictures to match. And they have them on their bulletin boards, or they'll put them on the refrigerator, just a reminder of why Dad has to go to Dallas, or why Dad has to go to St. Louis, or why Dad has to go to South Florida, why Dad has to go do these meetings. As a team, we're going to build this thing. But you guys, involve your kids in this business, because it makes it so much easier to go out and do meetings. Because when you go out to do your Tuesday night business presentation and little Lisa says, Mommy, where are you going? It is so much easier to walk over to that refrigerator and say, look, honey, the reason I have to go build my Excel business is because we got to get you this new bike. All right? We got to teach your kids capitalism right away. Teach them that right away. Teach your kids capitalism. Get them 2 bikes, one to ride and one to rent. Have fun with it, but try to involve your families as much as you possibly can. Because you guys, I'll be honest with you, I know how tough this business is to build with an unsupportive spouse. Because when Pat and I first started this deal, we weren't making any money. And there were times when Colleen would beg me to quit. I remember I came home from a meeting one time and she said, "Why do you do that stupid phone thing? You guys don't make any money at it." Can anybody relate? And I just looked at her and I said, "You don't see the big picture. Just wait, just wait, just wait, just wait. We don't have the right people yet. I know people who are successful. Just wait, just wait, just wait." Now, when I'm home, she looks at me and she says, "Don't you have a meeting to go to?" So as a family, you guys, figure out why you are building this business. Now, once you figure out why you're building it, then you have to sort of figure out when you're going to build it. And once again, do this as a family. Sit down with your families and figure out when you're actually going to go out and build your Excel business. Now, if you take a look at this chart, you know, everybody in this room here, we all have Monday through Sunday from 7 o'clock in the morning till basically 10 o'clock at night to get things done. Now, I know all you Gen Xers in the room, your day doesn't even start till 10 o'clock at night. But deal with it, okay? If you set up a grid like this, it's actually easier to figure out when you can't work your Excel business first. So go through this and figure out when you can't work it. If you look at this chart, you might say to yourself, "Well, there's no way that I can work my Excel business Monday through Friday from 8 in the morning until 12 noon because I have a job. That job is just getting in the way. And there's no way that I can work it from 1 to 5 because of that same job situation. Well, there's no way that I can work my business from 5 to 7 because I get home from work. That's family time. All right, we're going to have dinner together. We've got to work on homework. That's family time. So I can't work it from 5 to 7, Monday through Friday. Well, I certainly can't work my business on Mondays because that's Monday Night Football. I can't work it on Wednesdays because that's church night. And I certainly can't work it on Fridays because of high school athletics. My kids are playing games every Friday night. Now, I can't work my business on Sunday because that's just not right. And the weekend actually starts at noon on Saturday. So that is when I can't work my Excel business. How many of you are looking at me right now going, when is he actually going to do something? All right, now you take a look at this chart, and you say, all right, what's left? What time is left? Well, you look at this and you say, I could work my Excel business on Monday through Friday from 7 to 8. I could do a breakfast meeting Monday through Friday if I wanted to. That time is available. I could work my business from noon until 1 Monday through Friday over my lunch hour. Hey, I'm going to have lunch every day. I might as well just invite somebody to come and take a look at the business with me. Now, I know they've got business presentations on Tuesdays and Thursdays, so I could work my Excel business those days. And I know that they've got those training classes on Saturday mornings. And Sunday night is a great time to work Excel, conference calls, because everybody's home. So as a family, once again, you figure out when you're going to be able to work your Excel business. The only thing that I'm going to ask you to do is that when you decide on a specific time that you're going to work your Excel business, show up. Show up for work. Because guys, everybody gets into Excel to eventually get out. We all get in to eventually get out. Show up for work. So now when little Lisa says, Mom, where are you going? You walk over to the refrigerator and you say, look, honey, it's Tuesday night. We've decided that I can work my business on Tuesday night because we have to get you that new bike. And little Lisa's going to go, okay, go, 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 go. And it makes it a lot easier to build your business. Let's say that this is you as a new managing representative. Now, when you go out and gather your first 3 customer points, of which one of them has got to be your IR home site, okay, but you get 2 points for the IR home site, 2 separate billing telephone numbers, so basically that adds up to 4. You've got to do this within 30 days. Excel is going to pay you $50. Not a big deal, but it puts money in your pocket right away. Okay? Now, all of the customers that you personally sign up, and remember who your customers are: moms, dads, brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, grandparents, and people that you already do business with. We're never going to do any telemarketing. We're never going to make any cold calls. Guys, we all have people within our circle of influence who will sign up on the services basically because we ask them to. All of the customers that you personally sign up, Excel will pay you between 2 and 10% on whatever those customers spend month after month after month after month. If your small little group of customers are spending between $1 and $1,500, you're at the 2% level. If your small little group of personal customers combined are spending $11,000 a month or more, then you're at the 10% level. You guys, the money in Excel is showing other people how they can go out and gather a small little group of customers. In this business, the whole idea is you want to get a whole bunch of people to do just a little bit. And our little bit is just a small little group of customers. The second thing we do in Excel is we find business partners. We're going to go out and show other people how they can get started doing the exact same thing you just did. So let's say, for example, that you went out and you found 3 people. 3 people who would be interested in starting their own business. And you sponsor them as Excel representatives. These people said, nah, I don't want to be your customer. I want to be a rep. I want to do what you're doing. So you bring them in as a rep. Well, when these representatives go out and they gather their first 2 customer points, and they have to do this within their first 90 days, Excel will pay you $100 per person. Now, when those same reps gather 10 customer points in that same 90-day period, Excel will pay you another $100. So for every representative that you personally sponsor, help them gather their first 10 customer points within 90 days, Excel is going to pay you $200. Now, you can go do that as many times as you want to. I'm just showing you the example of 3. If you sign up 1, you make $200. If you sign up 10, you make $2,000. There's no limit to the number of personally sponsored reps that you can have. When you have 20 customer points and 3 personally sponsored managing representatives, you are now considered a qualified managing representative. Qualified managing representative, meaning you are now qualified to pick up bonuses on all 7 levels of Excel's compensation plan. 3 and 20, no excuses. Now, in order for you to pick up the bonuses on level 1, in order for you to pick up percentages on all the activity from all the customers on level 1, you first have to have a level 1. In order for you to get paid anything on level 1, you have to have at least 1 managing representative on your front line who has at least 1 customer point. Duh. Okay. In order to get paid on levels 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, you have to have 2 personally sponsored managing representatives and 6 customer points. 2 managing reps, 6 customer points qualifies you levels 1 through 6. In order for you to pick up the 7th level, you have to have 3 personally sponsored managing reps and 20 personal customer points. 3 and 20 get you qualified for all 7 levels of our compensation plan. Now, all of the customers that fall in on levels 1 through 5, Excel will pay you 0.25% of the total usage generated by those customers month after month after month. On level 7 or 6, they bump it up to a 1% override. And on level 7 is where Excel pays us a full 5%. Also, for every rep that falls in on levels 2 through 7, Excel will pay you a $10 bonus when those reps gather their first 5 customer points, and they have to do it within their first 90 days. Those $10 checks are paid weekly. How many of you are getting $10 weekly checks? Very cool, huh? Gives you sort of an indication of how your business is growing. Very, very soon, those $10 bonus checks are going to be paid daily. Daily. Now, 2 questions always come up in our training classes. A brand new representative, after looking at this slide right here, a brand new representative always has 2 questions. And the first question is, they say, okay, once I have representatives way down there on my 7th level, then do I start picking up 5% of all the customers in my group? And the answer is no. You only pick up the 5% if that customer falls on your 7th level. If that customer happens to fall on your 6th level, you get a 1% override. If that customer happens to fall on your 3rd level, you get a 0.25% override. Whatever level the customer falls, that's the percentage you pick up. Now, the other question that comes up is, a new representative looks at this and says, why does Excel take the biggest percentage and put it on the bottom? And they think that the answer is to make us work harder. When in reality, it's just the opposite. The reason that Excel takes the biggest percentage and they put it on the bottom is so we don't have to work as hard. Guys, over the course of time, not at the beginning, but over the course of time as you build your organization, the majority of your representatives and the majority of your customers are going to be down on your lower levels. Not at first, but over the course of time. In our business presentations, when we talk about 3 who get 3, who get 3, who get 3, if it worked out perfectly, you'd end up with over 2,000 representatives on your 7th level. Now, my question to you is, wouldn't you rather have 5% of the efforts of 2,000 people as opposed to 5% of the efforts of 3? All right? Does everybody understand how that works? Okay? The majority of the representatives are going to be down on your lower levels. Now, in our business presentations, we talk about the 7th level. We just talk about that 7th level. And we talk about if you had 2,187 reps who got 20 customer points at a $30 average at a 5% commission, that would equate to over $65,000 a month in income. And I get no reaction out of you guys at all. You know why? Because you're used to it. You're used to this. You've seen this presentation hundreds of times. You're used to that number. Now, you might not be able to relate to that number in the fact that maybe you haven't made that much money, but you certainly know people who have. And so when you see that kind of number, you go, yeah, that's a good start. Yep, that's a good start. But for the sake of our guests, who can't relate to that number at all, for the sake of our guests, not you guys, but for the sake of our guests, we say, all right, let's say that 90% of this perfect world example doesn't work. What if we're only 10% successful? Well, that's still over $6,500 a month in income. 3 times as much money as I used to make teaching school. Well, guys, there are people who can't relate to that kind of money. There are people who've never made $6,500 in a 30-day period before. So for the sake of our guests, not you guys, but for the sake of our guests, we say, all right, what if 99% of this perfect world example doesn't work? What if over the course of time, you only had 21 reps on your 7th level? Or the average rep only gathered 2 customer points? Or the average bill was $3? You do the math. But that's still over $656 a month in income. That's the number that got me in. Because unfortunately, that's the number I could relate to. Now, some people look at that number and say, yeah, but it's only $656 a month. Yeah, but it's residual. You guys, it's there month after month after month after month. You're not working anymore to get that money. That's interest money. I mean, don't raise your hand, but how many of you can honestly say that you make over $656 a month in interest? Tough in these economic times, isn't it? We've got to make sure that our people understand that that is big, big money. Because we're talking about a 1% success rate just from the 7th level. Now, the 7th level, you know, we actually, when Pat and I started back in 1990, the percentages were flip-flopped. We got 5% on our personal customers, 2% on our 7th level. Is there anybody in here who had that? Yeah, we got some people here who had that. When Kenny Trout decided to flip the percentages, and he put the 2% at the 0 level and the 5% on the 7th level, people quit this business in droves. Kenny Trout is stealing money from us, they said. And it's like, you guys, if you add it up, it's still 9.25%. Who cares where the money goes? Right? Excel is still paying out the same amount of money, but people thought that Kenny was taking money out of their pocket. Okay? See, guys, Excel, and the reason they put the biggest percentage on the bottom is because that's where the majority of our reps are going to be. This program was set up for people who stick around. This program's not designed This program is not designed for people to get in, make a bunch of money, and then get out. You know, now this is Steve Schultz rep talking. I'm not a corporate employee, guys. I am just like you. But I think the coding dollars are all messed up. Today, it's 125, 125, 75, 50, 50. It should be 50, 50, 75, 125, 125. You should have heard the boos I got in the RTD room. I got a couple of them in this room. Now, you guys are going, ooh, that's really easy for you to say because you're one of those ambassadors. Wait till you get there. Don't you plan on being there? Wait till you get there. You know, people say, oh, the rich get richer. Absolutely. It's the way it should be. That's totally the way it should be because they've proven it. Those people have already proven it. The brand new people haven't proved anything. They shouldn't be given a big pot of money to start this thing. That's why when you get into Excel as a managing rep, they don't give you the ambassador pool. You have to go out and earn that. That's why they take the biggest percentage and they put it on the bottom, because they want you to go out and build a very strong organization of customers and representatives. Well, you guys, you take a look at this 7th level example. I mean, you guys set your own goals towards financial freedom. You figure out how many representatives you think you can work towards in having on your 7th level and get there. But make sure that our brand new representatives understand why the 5% is down below. Because you're taking advantage of the numbers. And this is, truly a numbers game. Now, Excel's going to pay us for all of the customers in our organizations. All right, I just went through and I showed you how we get paid for all of the customers who come into our group. Well, Excel's also going to pay us for all of the reps who happen to come into our organization as well. For example, let's say this is you as an Excel representative, and the first level of promotion that you want to achieve is called senior representative. Now, to become a senior rep, you have to have, first of all, you got to have your 20 customer points. You have to have 3 personally sponsored managing representatives. In other words, you have to get yourself qualified. Get yourself qualified. And then you have to have a grand total of 12 managing representatives in your organization. Now, it doesn't have to be in perfect geometric progression like that. It could look more like that. And then you have to have 3 training directors on your first level. You can count as one of the 3. So when you've got your 20 customer points, at least 3 personally sponsored reps, 12 total in your organization, 3 training directors, Excel is going to promote you to senior rep. As a senior representative, Excel will pay you an additional $125 for every rep who comes into your organization. So let's say you became a senior rep. Congratulations, you stepped over the line. But look underneath that senior representative position. You're all alone. You have to start your senior representative group with a new person. So let's say you started it with Megan. Let's say Megan comes into the business. When Megan goes out and gathers her first 10 customer points, Excel is going to pay you the $200 in fast start like I shared with you earlier. But because you have that title of senior representative, Excel is going to pay you an additional $125. So when Megan comes in the business, Excel is going to pay you $325. Now that's a good deal, but it's not the best deal. Because we as individuals, we can only do so much. We can only go sponsor so many people into this business. The best part about this scenario is that Megan has the same opportunity that you do. And Megan's going to go out and build her organization. And when Megan goes out and signs up reps, who get 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 reps, every rep who falls into your senior representative group, Excel will pay you $125 per person, and those bonuses are paid to an unlimited number of levels. Now, the only thing that those reps have to do in order for that money to flow back up to you, they have to sign up 2 customer points, and they have to do it within their first 90 minutes. No, all the new people are going, really? No, it's 90 days, but I think we should start teaching 90 minutes, all right? Now, do you have an incentive to work with Megan? Because everybody that Megan brings in, 200, 200, 200, 200, but you make 125, 125, 125, 125, 125. Now, once you become a senior representative, the next position that you want to achieve is called regional director. Now, to become a regional director, inside your senior representative group, you have to have at least 3 personally sponsored reps. You did it once, just do it again. Once again, you have to have 12 total representatives inside your senior representative group. And then you have to have a grand total of 6 training directors on your front line. You plus 5 others. When it happens, it happens. No time limits whatsoever. But when it happens, Excel will promote you to regional director, and as a regional director, once again, Excel will pay you an additional $125. So let's say you became a regional director. Congratulations, you stepped over the line. But look, you're all by yourself. You have to start your RD room with a new person. So let's say you started it with Emily. When Emmy comes in the business and she gathers her first 10 customer points, Excel is going to pay you the $200 in fast start, plus the $125 senior bonus, plus the $125 RD bonus, for a grand total of $450. As an RD, everybody that you personally sponsor, $450, $450, $450, $450, $450. Is that a good deal? Yes. But it's not the best deal. The best deal is that Emily has the same opportunity that you do. And when Emily goes out and starts building her organization, and she signs up reps who get others, 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 every rep who comes into your regional director organization, Excel will pay you up to $250 per person. Once again, those bonuses are paid to an unlimited number of levels. Every rep who comes in, they got to gather those 2 customer points within 90 days. Do you have an incentive to work with Emily? Do you forget about Megan? No. Do you really like Emily, though? Yeah. Okay? Now, once you become a regional director, the next position that you can achieve is called executive director. Now, to become an ED, first of all, obviously you have to be an RD, and then you have to go out there and build your regional director organization. Well, somewhere inside your regional director group, you have to find 5 people who become regional directors themselves. Just find 5 people and teach them and help them become regional directors, and they have to be in levels 1 through 7. Levels 1 through 7. When it happens, it happens. There's no time limits whatsoever. But when it happens, Excel is going to promote you to executive director. And as an executive director, Excel will pay an additional $75 more for every rep who comes in. So let's say you became an executive director. Congratulations, you stepped over the line. But look at you. You're all alone. You have to start your executive director group with a new person. So let's say you started it with Michael. Mike comes in the business. He gathers his first 10 customer points. Excel's going to pay you the $200 in Fast Start. They're going to pay you the $125 senior bonus, the $125 RD bonus, the $75 ED bonus. So when Michael comes in the business, you make $525. That is a good deal. That is a great deal. But Michael has the same opportunity that you do. And when Michael goes out and he sponsors reps who get others, who get others, who get others, who get others, every rep who falls into your executive director group, Excel will pay you up to $325. Once again, those bonuses are paid to an unlimited number of levels. How successful do you want Michael to be? Don't you hope he's the highest income earner in the company? Do you forget about Emily? Do you forget about Megs? No, what you do is you call Megan up and Michael up and Emily up and say, all right, guys, here's the deal. We're doing a meeting at Megan's house on Monday night. Get as many people there as you can. Now, on Wednesday night, Michael, we're all coming over to your house. And Emmy, on Thursday, we're all coming over to your house. Ready? Break. And you work with everyone. Okay? Now, the next position that you can achieve after executive director is called senior director. Now, to become a senior director, obviously you got to be an ED first. You have to be an executive director first. And then you have to go out there and build your your ED organization. You got to go out there and build your ED organization. Well, somewhere inside your executive director group, once again, you have to find 5 people who become regional directors themselves. So you take 5 people and you just make them your project. When it happens, it happens. But when it does happen, Excel is going to promote you to senior director, and as a senior director, Excel is going to add another $50 for everybody who comes into your group. So let's say you became a senior director. Congratulations, but you're all by yourself. You have to start your senior director organization with a new person. So let's say you started it with Pat Hintz. Hintzer comes in the business. When he goes out and gathers his first 2 customer points, Excel is going to pay you the $200 in Fast Start, the $125 senior bonus, the $125 RD bonus, the $75 ED bonus, the $50 SD bonus. So when Pat comes in, you make $575. Wow. Good deal. Now, Pat is fired up about this business because he's going to go out and he wants to get himself promoted quickly. So when Pat goes out and he signs up reps who get reps, who get reps, who get reps, who get reps, every rep who comes into your SD group, Excel will pay you up to $375 per person, and those bonuses are paid again to an unlimited number of levels. You think about the kind of money that is. When you think about the numbers, the sheer numbers of people that have come into people's organizations in a given month. 375, 375, 375, 375. Remember, those reps have to sign up 2 customer points within 90 days. Now, the next and final position is called Executive Senior Director. Now, to become an ESD, obviously you have to be an SD to start, and then you have to go build your SD organization. Well, somewhere inside your senior director group, levels 1 through 7, you have to find 2 people, just 2 people, that become executive directors. And that will promote you to the position of executive senior director. Piece of cake, right? It's only 2. It's only 2, right? When it happens, it happens. But when it does happen and Excel promotes you to ESD, they're going to pay you an additional $50 more. So let's say you became an ESD. Congratulations. But you're all by yourself. You have to start your ESD room with a new person. Let's say you started it with Rule Morton. When Rule comes in the business, and he gathers his first 10 customer points, and I guarantee you he's gathering them within 90 minutes, not 90 days. Excel's going to pay you the $200 in Fast Start, the $125 senior bonus, the $125 RD bonus, the $75 ED bonus, the $50 SD bonus, and the $50 ESD bonus. So when Rule comes in, gathers 10 customer points, you make $625. Think about that. I remember Kenny Trout said one day, he said, I envision a time where every rep who comes into your group will be worth $1,000 apiece. We're up to $625 right now. And we haven't even started electricity yet. Now, Rule's going to go out and build his organization, obviously. Every rep who comes into Rule's group, every rep who comes into your executive senior director group, Excel will pay you up to $425 per person. Those bonuses, again, are paid to an unlimited number of levels. How successful do you want Rule to be? How successful do you want Pat to be? And Michael, and Emily, and Megan, and everybody that they bring in, and they bring in, and they bring in. We're just a big, whole, happy family, right? We want everybody to succeed in this business. Now, I went through that pretty darn fast. And the reason I go through it fast is because if you are a senior representative, you know what it takes to become an RD. And if you are an ED, you know what it takes to become an SD. All right? I've never seen anybody become a senior director before they became a senior rep. It is step by step by step by step. In our regular MR schools, we take our brand new representatives from point blank zero and show them how to get to regional director. Because once we go any further than that, we start to see that deer in the headlight look. Very similar to what I'm looking at right now. Now, you take a look at this. You take a look at all these numbers and all these people who are coming into your group. What if you're a senior director? What if you became a senior director and you sponsored a few people and then nobody really did anything? You just can't seem to get anything going. You know, you got a few and they got a few who maybe got a few, but nobody really seems to be doing anything. What are you supposed to do? It's like, go sponsor somebody else. All right? Guys, I'm going to tell you, don't spend a minute of your time trying to remotivate people back into your business. Take your positive energy and go sponsor a brand new representative. I love what Kevin Pine told me. Kevin Pine taught me this a long time ago. He said, Steve, if the horse is dead, get off. Doesn't that make sense? Take your positive energy and go sponsor a brand new representative. Okay? Now, this is what your organization should look like. This is an iceberg. And if you go to successories.com, you can download this picture. Successories.com. All right, just copy this picture. This is an iceberg. Now, the part that you can see above the water line, that represents your 7-level organization. The part that you can't see, the part that's below the water line, that represents your coded organization. Isn't that cool? And if you notice in this picture, the majority, I mean, you know, people say, oh, it's one of those pyramid things, right? Well, it's not a pyramid because it's more like diamond shaped. So when somebody says, oh, it's one of those pyramid deals, go, no, it's one of those diamond deals. Right? Because in the middle is where you will always have the majority of your group. Because you start off with just a few, and they get a few, who get a few, who get a few, and then it starts to taper off a little bit. It's just that the middle gets bigger and bigger and bigger over the years. And so that is what you want your organization to look like. You want to go build the biggest iceberg that you possibly can. But that'll give you a sort of a mental picture of what your organizations look like. The coding or the training dollars, guys, this is pretty simple stuff. As far as a PowerPoint slide, I don't know if we can make it any simpler than this. But as a training director, to become a TD, it's $345 with a $100 annual renewal fee. Why do you want to become a training director? Because you get paid $40 for every MR that you train. Hey, you're going to work with these people anyway. You're going to answer their questions anyway. You're going to go to the training class with them anyway. You might as well get paid the extra $40. It's going to be paid to somebody. It might as well be paid to you. To get your money back, you have to train 8.5 people. If you didn't think you were going to get 8.5 people involved in Excel, you probably shouldn't have got in to begin with. All right, so that's my logic when I talk to a person about becoming a training director. Now, an extra $345 is a chunk of money, though. Everybody that I sponsor, I let them know that at some point they've got to become a training director. They can get into Excel for $399 down, but take the first $400 that you make and reinvest it back into your business and upgrade to the position of training director. Now, once you become a training director, the next level of training is called regional training director. Okay, and everybody in this room has gone through RTD school. It's $200 the first year you go with a $100 annual renewal fee. But as an RTD, you get paid $40 for every MR that you train. You get paid $80 for every training director that you train, and you get paid $40 for every training director who recertifies the next year. You get half of what you got the first year. Now, from just a pure common sense standpoint, there shouldn't be any of those. You guys, nobody should renew as a training director. Everybody should take the next step and go to RTD school. Okay? I mean, think about it. If you've got some people in your organization and their 1-year anniversary is about due, and they're going to go out there and pay their training director renewal fee of $100, well, they'd be better off going to RTD school. Because you go to RTD school, you pay an extra $100, but the day you become an RD is the day you become an RTD. So let's say you had somebody in your group pay the $100 today, and then 60 days later, they became a regional director, and then they said, man, now I need to go to RTD school, so then they go pay another $200, which means they paid an extra $100 that they probably didn't need to. So guys, we're teaching our people, don't renew your TD position, whether you're, close to RD or not, get them to go to RTD school. Because you don't want them to have them pay that. I mean, now, if they don't do it within a year, then it costs them. But you got to get them there. Try to get them there as quickly as you can. The next level of training is called NTD, and that's what you guys are here for. As an NTD, it's $400 the first year with an annual renewal fee of $200. Now, to become an NTD, you get paid $40 for every MR that you train. You get paid $100 for every training director that you train. Remember, we teach the teachers. You get paid $50 for every training director who recertifies, which there shouldn't be any of those. But you also get paid $20 for every training director that is trained by a regional training director that happens to be in your RD code. There, I said it. In other words, let's say, for example, all of you guys are regional training directors. And you happen, you're all are regional training directors, and you happen to be in my regional director organization. Well, every time that you go out and you train a training director, Excel is willing to pay you $80. But they're willing to pay out $100. So they take that extra $20 and they give it to the upline NTD. How many of you did not know that? I love being the bearer of good news. You guys think about that. Pat and I have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of regional training directors all over the country. And they're training people every single week making 80, 80, 80, 80, 80, 80, 80, 80. And Pat and I are on the golf course making 20, 20, 20, 20, 20, 20, 20. Is that a good deal? All right. Excel is going to pay this money to somebody. They should pay it to you. All right? Teach your representatives to just keep taking the next levels. Don't let any window of income be closed with this business. All right, let's do one more thing and we're going to take a break. Let's talk about the pools. Everybody into the pool. Okay? Go get your suits on. We're all in the pool. The SD-ESD revenue sharing pool is made up of 1% of the total North American MLM revenue. Take the total revenue of the company, and this pool is made up of 1% of it. Now, who qualifies? To qualify for the SD-ESD pool, you have to have a minimum of $50,000 in billing from all of your customers in levels 0 through 7. You take your personal customers, whatever they spend, and you get a number. You take all of the customers on levels 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, whatever they're spending, and you get a number. If that number is $50,000 or more, you qualify. To be eligible for payment, you have to be an active Excel representative, meaning actively going out and building your business. You have to have at least a $1,000 coding check, leadership bonus check per month. Now, how to earn shares? Well, you earn 5 shares at the $50,000 mark. If you have $50,000 in billing, you get 5 shares. Now, for every increase of $10,000 in billing, Excel will give you another share. And they'll give you that 1 share increase up to $200,000. Once you're at the $200,000 mark, they'll give you another share of the pool for every $25,000 in billing. Okay? This is all, you don't have to write any of this stuff down, you guys. It's all in print. Go to My Excel for Reps, it's right there. If you're going to write anything down, write this next slide down. Psych. This just shows you that if you have $50,000 in billing, you get 5 shares, 60,000, 6 shares, 70,000, 7 shares, and so on and so on and so on. And if you notice, go to the 200,000. If you have $200,000 in billing, levels 1 through 7 plus your personal, you get 20 shares of the pool. If you have $225,000 in billing, then you get 21 shares of the pool. So that's the cutoff line. Okay? So far, so good? How many pool qualified people are in this room? Cheeseburgers, right? Good job, you guys. Congratulations. Congratulations. Now, the ambassador revenue sharing pool. Once again, it's made up of 1% of the total revenue, North American MLM revenue. Who qualifies? To qualify for the ambassador pool, you have to have $600,000 in billing, okay? And customer-generated revenue. And I'm going to show you how we come up with that number in just a second. And to be eligible, you got to be an active rep. Your coding check, your leadership bonus, has to be at least $3,000 a month. Now, how do we come up with that $600,000 mark? Well, you take your personal customer usage. You take all of the customers that you have personally, figure out what they're spending. Well, Excel will figure out what they're spending, and you multiply it by 4. And you get a number. Why 4? I have no idea. I don't know why it's 4. It's just 4. And then you take all of the customers in your 1 through 7 level organization, whatever they're spending, and you get a number. And then you take all of the customers in your senior rep group, whatever they're spending, and you get a number. Same with your RD position, ED position, SD position, and ESD position. Okay? You have to be an ESD to be an ambassador. So you take a look at your entire organization and you say, okay, I'm just going to isolate who is in my senior representative code. Take that entire group, get a number. Okay, who is just in my RD code? Get a number. Who's just in my ED code? Get a number. And so you take that number that's in your SD, or your ESD, SD, ED, RD, SR, levels 1 through 7, and you add it all up. And if it's 600,000, you're in. How many ambassadors do we have in this room? Okay, 1 so far. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You're going to do it twice. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You guys are all ambassadors. All right? It's just that the paperwork's not in yet. Now, to become an ambassador, you got to have the title of ESD. You got to have the 600,000 in combined CGR, and you've got to have a minimum of $3,000 in coding, and you have to actively be participating in building a business. But there's one other thing that you got to have. You got to have an attitude. You got to sit back and say, I really want this. This is going to happen for me. All right? This is not going to happen overnight. This is not going to happen overnight. It's going to take a little bit of time to go out and build this. But I'll tell you guys, you just go out there and do the 2 things that we do in Excel. Signing up customers, signing up representatives. Just do those things over and over and over and over again, and that will lead you to the ambassador pool. That will lead you to the ambassador pool. It's just step by step by step by step. How would you like to have everybody go to RD in 30 days? Would that be a good deal? How would you like to have everybody go to RD in 60 days? How would you like to have everybody in your group go to RD in 90 days? Would that be okay? If you want The people in your organization to go to RD in 60 or 90 days, shoot for 30. Shoot for 30. The one thing, and people ask Pat and I all the time, they say, no, what would you guys do differently? If you had a chance to do it all over again, what would you do differently? And I sort of laugh about that because we do have the ability to start over anytime. And so the one thing that I would do differently, and we started this 7 years ago, was stressing the urgency of building an organization. Stress the urgency of getting to RD quickly. And so we came up with this, RD in 30 days. Now, to become an RD in 30 days, the first thing you got to do, you take a brand new representative and you look them right in the eye, and that brand new rep says to you, what do I need to do to become successful? And you say, you need to become an RD in 30 days. They don't know the difference. Just assume that everybody becomes an RD in 30 days. And so they're looking at you for guidance. And so on day one, when you sign up a brand new representative, sign them up as MRTD. To become an RD in 30 days, the brand new rep has got to be an MRTD. Now, in week number 1, help them sign up 3 to 5 MRTDs on their first level and get their 20 customer points out of the way. 3 to 5 MRTDs on the front line and 20 customer points out of the way. So in other words, at the end of that first week, your brand new representative is a qualified managing representative. Get them qualified in week 1. Now in week number 2, help each newly sponsored rep do exactly what you did in week 1. You will now have 12 MRs in your downline and 4 to 6 training directors on your first level. It's a business of multiplication and duplication. You take that brand new rep, boom, get them qualified. Then you take those 3 reps that brand new rep just signed up, and in week number 2, get them qualified. Everybody just does the same thing. So at the end of 2 weeks, your brand new representative is a senior representative. Now in week number 3, sign up 3 new MRTDs on your first level. Sounds a lot like week 1, doesn't it? And in week number 4, help those newly sponsored reps do exactly what you did in week 1. You will now have 12 MRs in your senior code and at least 6 training directors on your first level. You did it once, just do it again. Multiplication and duplication. So in other words, at the end of week number 4, your brand new representative is a regional director. Now you sit back and you go, man, that's aggressive. Absolutely. But how bad do you want it? How bad do you want it? You're sitting there going, I want to be an ambassador. I've got to go out and create regional directors in order for me to become an ambassador. It's extremely aggressive. But if you think you can, you can. If you think you can become a regional director in 30 days or you don't think you can become an RD in 30 days, you're absolutely right. Henry Ford. Extremely aggressive, you guys. But go out there and make it happen. Do you believe it? Because I'll tell you guys, if you don't believe it, nobody else will. But you guys have $1 million business sitting in front of you. Some of you have a multi-million-dollar business sitting in front of you. The key is you've got to go get it. Because nobody's going to give it to you. But you guys already know what to do. You're already successful. That's why you're here. Somebody said to me one time, they said, well, what does the average person in Excel make? I said, there aren't any average people in Excel. Huh? Because we will go out and do what the average person won't do. Now, there are 4 things you must understand. Number 1, understand that Excel will happen with or without any of us in this room. It's going to happen anyway It might as well happen underneath us. Number two, understand that this is just a great idea. Excel takes something that is normally non-personal and they bring it back down to the personal level. Nobody can compete with us if we work this business the right way. AT&T, MCI, and Sprint cannot compete with the fact that I am my mother's son. We win. Number three, understand that you must create the why. Sit down with your families, you guys, and you figure out why you are building your Excel business. And understand that whatever your goals and your dreams are, it's possible. It's possible. Because chances are, it's already been done. This business is all about attitude and how bad you really want this to work. Because nobody can say that Excel doesn't work, because we're proven. It's about attitude. Every single morning when you wake up and you look in the mirror, this is what you should see. Isn't that great? Three things you must do. Number one, just do something. Do something with your Excel business every day and good things are going to happen. Number two, keep your business simple. Don't worry about the bumps in the road. George Bernard Shaw said that the people who make it in this world are the people who look for the circumstances that they want, and if they can't find them, they create them. Go create your own luck. And number three, make a commitment to it. Not only to yourselves, but to your families. And I've got a saying in this business, and that is, you don't get into Excel until Excel gets into you. I believe that every person in Excel is in because they wanted to make a change in their life. If you want to make a change, you've got to change some things. I mean, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again, but expecting a different outcome. And with change comes challenge. Change is not easy. But as you guys are out building your organization and you're going through some changes, don't wish that things were easier. Wish that you were better. Don't wish for less problems. Wish for more skills. Don't wish for less challenge. Wish for more wisdom. Don't wish things were easy, because with change, good things happen. Because remember, without gravity, you can't fly. Without gravity, you can't fly. I want to let you know where I think we are with this opportunity. And I invite you to get a book. And it's Sam Walton's account of the Walmart story called Made in America. And in this book, you are going to see a great analogy of a man and a dream. Sam Walton's dream was that he wanted to become the largest retailer in the world. And Sam started his dream in 1962 in Bentonville, Arkansas. Well, in 1970, Sam had built his business to about a $30 million a year enterprise. Well, in 1971, Sam Walton ran out of money. And in order for him to continue his dream, he had to go public and sell his company. Well, you guys, people laughed at him. People looked at Sam and said, no, wait a minute. You want to become the largest retailer in the world, and you are a measly $30 million a year company, and you don't have any money? Who do you think you are? Because at the time, Sears was the largest retailer. Sears had nearly 44% of the market, and they were doing over $10 billion in sales. People laughed at him. Well, some people believed because he offered his stock at $15 a share, and it sold for $16.50. Well, you know the rest of the story. Walmart continued to grow. Sears also grew. But Sam Walton lived to see the final sales figures for 1991, a year in which Sears did $30 billion in sales, and a year in which Walmart did $32.6 billion in sales. Plain and simple, the man had a dream. And in the last chapter of his book, he was asked, will this ever be repeated? Will we ever see this again? And without hesitation, he said, oh yes, many times. Because there will always be people out there who have a dream, and there will be other people who will believe in them. Joe Mitchell has a dream. And Joe wants to build the largest communications company in the world. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm not going to bet against him. Because what Joe has put together is the most dynamic sales force in the history of mankind. And what we are doing collectively is we are building the most loyal customer base this industry has ever seen. Guys, I don't think it's a question of if Joe is going to do it. I think it's a question of when. You know, there are some people in Bentonville, Arkansas today that are having to answer to some pretty tough questions. Pretty tough questions from their kids and their grandchildren. Questions like, why? Why did you laugh? $1,650 would be worth millions today. Why didn't you believe? Kids can be pretty tough with their direct questions. You know, I believe that when business history is recorded for the last half of the 20th century, our kids and our grandchildren will be reading about the Iacocas. They'll be reading about the Ray Krocs. They'll be reading about the Thomas Watsons of IBM. But I believe that they will also be reading about a man named Joe Mitchell. And you better be prepared to answer the questions from your kids and your grandchildren. Questions like, wow, what was it like back then? You mean you got involved in Excel when they were doing just $2 billion in sales? Or you better be prepared to answer the questions of, why? You mean you were a part of that company back in the year 2003 and you got out? What were you thinking? If you want to know where you are mentally with this opportunity, you are in Bentonville, Arkansas in 1972. And you don't even have to buy the stock. Just buy the idea and involve yourself. We have an opportunity here to do something incredibly special. Don't miss this. You guys, don't miss this. Go out there and set yourselves up for life financially. Have a great time at Excelebration, and I will catch up with you across the country somewhere, okay?